And I am your host I am one of your hosts for this exciting afternoon. So, how is everyone doing this afternoon? How are you guys doing so far in the semester? Are you keeping up? Are you coping well? Have you been getting proper sleep? Feel free to chat away in the chat box and let us know. Have you guys eaten yet? If not, then go ahead and get something to eat or something to snack on. You can read this meet kind of like a movie and eat while you're listening. That's absolutely fine. It's nice to see that most of you are doing good. Sure, Luis, we can eat together. Go ahead and eat. It's good to know that all of you are doing good today. So in our case, we're actually doing pretty great, and we're feeling very good and really excited because with over 100 registrations, we get to officially welcome the new batch of members to the Google Developer Student Club of San Carlos. So I'm definitely loving the atmosphere right now, and I really can't hold on to my excitement anymore. So in order to preface this event, we will start with the opening remarks from one of our talented Gdsc San Carlos advisors, Sir Chris Militante.
Good afternoon. Thank you to every one of you for being with us here today. Today marks the third annual info session for the Google Developer Student Club San Carlos. And on behalf of the team, we are happy to have you all here with us today. So before we get started, I would like to thank and commend the efforts of everyone who helped make this event possible. To Jazz and her new core team. I know the week leading up to today has been quite the ride, but you managed to pull through together. I'm sure those challenges strengthened your relationships as a team, and I hope you continue to face all the future issues and setbacks together. To our former core team members, Kyra, Bruce, Jean, Lou, Jam, my co-advisor, Sir Ian, thank you for always being there to help out the kids whenever they are lost with what needs to be done. I know you're all busy, but you never fail to lead the kids down the right path. To our ever supportive speaker, Sir Shad, a big thank you for always taking the time off your busy schedule to share your experiences and to inspire the next generation of DSC members. Finally, to everyone here, whether you're attending as a member or as a curious guest, thank you for coming. Your presence means the world to us, and we hope you enjoy the event. So today's info session is all about answering all of your what questions. What is developer student clubs? What do we do? What are the benefits of joining? What can we expect from the org this school year? All those questions and more are what we are here to find out today. And it would be so easy to get caught up in the excitement of all the things that we are planning for this year. But more so than all of these whats, while you're listening to the talks, I'd like you to reflect and think of the whys. Why do you actually want to join DSC? Some might say, I heard DSC is a good opportunity to learn about tech and programming. Others would say, I'm joining DSC because I would like to expand my network. I want to meet more people. Even others would say, siguro, apil kog DSC kay nakagwapo o gwapa. So yeah, tinuod sad. We all have our own reasons for joining the org. And I just like to share mine. So last year, Bruce reached out to me via chat and he told me about DSC and if I would like to be an advisor for Kyra's term. So sa tinuod lang, I had barely heard of DSC before and I just saw them in one of those classrooms. Gamay ra gid kayo sila, like 5-10 students. So I never really thought much about it. I was like, this could be interesting, this could be fun, but I wasn't sure how it would fit into my schedule. So I was on the fence about DSC at first. I was excited, don't get me wrong, but it's just that my heart wasn't really into it yet. It was only when I asked the former lead, si Kyra, I asked her a very important question. It was only then that I was like, this is my why. This is why I'll stay. I asked her, what is your vision for the org? What do we want to achieve with DSC? So si Kyra, she wasn't able to really give me an answer out of the on the spot. So we had a long conversation about it, about her plans, about what she wanted to achieve. And so after quite a while, we finally came up with the vision of making a lasting impact on society through meaningful tech solutions. And until now, that's actually still why I'm here. I want to be there and help develop tech that makes a difference together with all of you, especially tech that makes a difference for our country here in the Philippines. So I hope throughout this event and throughout the school year, I want you guys to think of your why, because that's what will keep you going, Judd. Thank you, and I hope you all enjoy what we have in store for you.
So thank you so much, Sir Chris, for that wonderful message. We really can't do it without your support, the support of the former core team, and all, of course, our members. So we will definitely try to find our why we're joining GDSC, and we'll definitely use this to improve our community through our passion, which is tech. So at this point, now to give us their insights about the industry and the organization, we have a special guest here with us this afternoon. He's not only an entrepreneur, but is also a startup advisor, a community builder, and is currently working as a growth consultant to multiple companies based in Japan, Singapore, and the Philippines. He was previously connected to Google's developer relations team, where he was busy leading regional and global programs for student developers. He's a key contributor in launching and scaling Google's Developer Student Club's community program across 7 countries, reaching almost 200 universities in the Southeast Asia region and in Pakistan. He has created and managed over 100 projects in the past, and his efforts will continue to be considered essential in supporting businesses towards digital transformation. Everyone, please welcome our guest speaker, Mr. Shad Roy De La Cruz.
Wow, thank you so much, Zach, for that very nice introduction. And of course, sir, thank you for really the kind words as well and for supporting the community. And it's really, really important to have such a really good advisor helping you out and mentor them in this I would say challenging times. And despite of being virtual, most of the time people try to figure things out. But what more if they get mentors to give years of experience and adding the solutions to some of their concerns and issues as well. And yeah, it's very, very inspiring. And thank you so much, sir. I just want to pay tribute here. And of course, to everyone, to all the DSC, I see some DSC leads are also joining this event. Justine, thank you for having me today. So, I've been thinking a lot like what should I be talking today? And of course, given the time of the busy schedule, I wanted to kick off this year this time with all of you in understanding why you should choose tech and what can you really get out of tech and being part of this. But before we jump into going through the session, I just want to put in a little bit of a trivia time to everyone, and I suggest you put in your chat to everyone in case you're still you haven't moved it there. So we can probably do a little bit of a trivia, and then I just want to get an understanding from everyone if you know or not know. So we have the first question right here. What is the meaning of Wi-Fi? So if you can probably start answering, putting it there. Okay. Wrong spelling wrong, huh? Okay. All right. Everybody seems to be getting it right. Cool, cool. Okay. That's right. It's wireless fidelity. It's not wireless friend, but we all know that it's a friend. Okay. Let's move on. The next one, which of this is not a Google technology? Just to know if you know some of this. All right. Okay. I see everybody figured it out as well. All right. Okay, cool. It's Unity. So Flutter, Firebase, and Android are all Google technologies. All right. Very good. And of course, the last question: what year did Google founded? All right, you have 10 seconds. All right. Okay, I think most of you knows about this. So correct, it's 1998. Yay, very good. All right, cool. So thanks everyone for a little bit of an icebreaker. I know after lunch or usually when most of us feels want to relax and sit down, probably watch Netflix and or play games or something, especially on a weekend like this, you just want to rest. But thank you for joining us today for a quick info session. So probably you want to know a little bit more about me, and and my journey in the tech as well. Started a little bit very, very years ago, very early in the year. Probably most of you are still babies during this time, or probably some of you are still, kids running around. It really didn't started yet, but it was year 2000 when I actually had the first computer, and I was, I think, about 6 or 7 years old when I started learning how to do programming. It was very simple. You remember I used PowerPoint with this, animation and navigation to click around. And I said I want to do this on a web or in an HTML. And that's when I learned a front page, where it has this really interesting navigation and especially during that time, I remember we had an internet connection called dial-up, where the only way for you to connect is that you have to make sure nobody calls the phone, and you have to connect. You connect it to the internet. I remember it was very slow back then. I used this Dreamweaver, and then eventually I started learning programming language as well. I think when I was in my high school, I already started doing websites and also started creating projects, freelance project back then. And then it came to a point where I came to like a dilemma of what course should I take on my college. So what I did was, instead of going to a thing that I've been doing, which is computers and stuff prior to my in my early days, I want to do something else. So I told my mom I want to enroll to a flying school, and that's when I I did a year in the flying school. When I realized, like, wait a minute, am I just really gonna fly a plane from one place to another, same old thing, over and over again for the rest of my life? So that was a question to myself, and I said, probably I'll go back to, I'll probably choose back do computers again. And during this time, I discovered the world of computer science, IT, and it fascinated me with so much thing that you can do with with the technology that you have. You can be you could be a spark to a lot of solutions that can solve real world problems today. And I don't know if you see, like, when I was in my high school, during that time, very few major tech happening. It was, Facebook is starting to expand in the Philippines, or like a lot of people started using it. There were, very few cloud things, cloud services back then. And imagine now, if you look back to now, look to where we are now, it's totally different. Like, everything is cloud based. The technology has evolved, improved. Your iPhone probably have changed during this time as well. So long story short, I went back to university, where I had a scholarship in computer science, and then went through that 4 years. I was also involved with a lot of activities such as this community. Before, it was called the Google Student Ambassador Program, where Google selects people as well, students to lead in the university, just like Justine and Kyra before. But this time, the best thing about DSC is that it involves the entire student group now. You're basically part of a huge network of students from around the world already. And of course, the background, I actually, right after I graduated, I moved to Cebu and stayed there for 5 years. and that's when I met my my wife, and my love story basically there. It all started there. I was able to get involved in a community there as well called the Google Developers Google Groups, GDG Cebu, where I led the community for a while as well. And we hosted a lot of events and activities in Cebu. And also, I used to work in a company called Symph. Right now, I'm also kind of a consultant with them as well, and of course Google. I've in 2000 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I was invited to join Google to help launch the program called this developer student clubs across across the region, across Southeast Asia. So yeah, so that's a little bit about me. I feel like I went too long, but other things here as well. Yeah, so basically that's it. And of course, for you guys, I had my fair share of my journey in tech, and I really enjoy it. I was able to involve with building projects, solving problems of people using technology. And of course, for all of you, you have different options. And I would say, since all of you are in the IT, uh, you have technology in your option as well. But all of this really work together to achieve to achieve what we call the digital transformation. And a little bit about digital transformation. It's actually how you can disrupt in current industries, to be to make them more you know um enhance them using technology as well. And of course, in the Philippines alone, imagine this, in 2020, people, because of the evolution of digital transformation, where people started using digital wallet and online services, the withdrawal rate of ATMs have dropped over 30 to 40% in the last year. And it's very interesting to see how that change will still happen the next couple of years, especially now more and more things are putting online. So again, this is such an opportunity for you to get involved in tech as well. So let's take a look at the tech industry. And of course, you see all of these major companies, probably some of them is your dream company to work for as well. And it's really interesting how also Philippine tech is starting up also. And there's a lot of startups are pushing as well on getting their company or like their technology out there to solve some problems that exist in our world as well. Some of them here are social networks. Some of them are tools and services and products that are helpful for each person as well each day. And of course, here you will see like the effect as well of the world's most valuable brands, and you will surely see that technology is among the top industries that there is. And this only shows that tech will stay here, will always be here, to be. So that's why your courses, your degrees are your I would say you're in the right path towards where you want to go. And probably most of you want to ask, like, why is tech for me? And if some of you are still wondering, is this really the right course for me? Is this what I really want to do? So let's take a look back at what is technology. And of course, it started from 50,000 or probably a million years ago as well, when people started learning how to farm or how people to survive, organize themselves. Like the wheel, when it was invented, it's basically an invention to save people's time. And of course, how heavy stuff were brought in before as well. And of course, modern technology has totally changed the way people work and do things as well. And especially now, in just the last 10 years, imagine your iPhone has changed from a small rectangle to still a rectangle right now with a little bit of curve, with more cameras in it as well and way faster. So it totally changes the way we learn, we play, we socialize, we work and travel. And you will really see how people are going to school. To share with you, I was fascinated with my 3-year-old nephew. He started going to school now, so my sister built an entire room just to call it the classroom, to experience, to make him feel like that he's actually in a school. But in reality, that's actually very strange, because he's meeting his classmates on Zoom. He's saying hi to some of the people faces on the screen. But in reality, there's that, that totally changed the way people socialize and learn and play. But it's still possible, and very interesting. And there's this thing called the Morse Law, where basically says that every 2 years, technology, or the size of the microchip or the power of the transistors, will increase every 2 years. And we can actually see that. But people say that Morse Law is starting to plateau at some level, where technology are becoming standardized, especially now we're exploring the quantum computing as well. So you can also see here a history of my phones. And in 2013, I don't know how many of you here are born in 2003. Meron ba? Wala pa. 1998, 1999, 2000, yung ganun. No? All right. Yes. 2002 is here, sir. All right. Very good. 2001. So we have young folks here. These were the times when I had my first phone and you were still probably in your mommy's belly pa. And eventually I evolved to my first Android phone, where I said like, oh, wow, this is like, this is the thing. I can do a lot more. This is like a computer where I can put in my pocket. And during the time, I remember this is actually one of the first Android phones that arrived in the Philippines. And I was fascinated of what it can do. I so especially during this time, no, that I can already connect to 3G network. And the moment I get connected to the internet, like, it was just a different world for me. And of course, with the internet, you can search anything on Google, all your life's question. I was just talking to some high school student as well on how they can survive high school. And when you search it out, you can actually see how to survive or how to graduate high school without doing anything. You might want to try that as well in your current as well. And of course, imagine when you're trying to search for an algebraic expression, you are like a problem. You can find it right away with the step-by-step guide on how to do it. So this is quite a fascinating thing, because years ago you don't have this, and during my time. So but now it teaches you how to do it, as long as you really, really wanna learn it as well. So rather than just copying. So yeah, internet I would say is one of the biggest technology that totally changed the world, and basically help us to connect and solve and find answers that we've probably never know before as well. So imagine, I remember, as I mentioned earlier, my internet was very slow. In 2002, 2004, 2005, I had a little bit of speed. It was a life-changing moment, and then eventually things started to change, even getting faster and faster. In reality, I would say Philippines has one of the most fastest internet. Like the average speed, I would say, is still higher here compared to other countries, uh, and I think in the malls as well. Now we have 5G data internet, especially somewhere here in Manila, and I think in Ayala, Cebu as well area. So there are several 5G hotspot where if you have an iPhone 12, right, like you can, and you have a 5G SIM, you can start seeing some of this change happening across the country. Very interesting. And though it's always a question, like, do we really, really need to go faster than this? The truth is, Philippines has actually a really good infrastructure in terms of internet and connection already. Of course, there are some areas in the country that they still need to reach, but sooner or later we'll have we'll close that gap eventually. So speaking of tech, again, there are a lot of things that you can learn from tech itself alone, and from AI, brain-computer interfaces, advanced 3D printing. Like I don't know if you've searched about the 3D printed heart or something, which was a nerve that can be added. A lot of this has been solving a lot of human problems already, and technology is already in the frontier of how we will be in the next couple of years. Especially, I would say all of this will start showing, but still, we need more workforce people who will be probably the inventors and solution makers of our future world as well. So probably my question would be, which technology are you excited the most? If you can type it on the chat, that'll be very helpful. But a little bit about AI. That's also one of the things that I believe in GDSC we can explore. Uh, and I think getting and starting to learn about this, it will really allow you to understand how to create models that can solve human problems. How can it amplify? How can it solve more problems in the world as well? Like especially before a problem shows up, AI can probably help out in identifying that as well. And I think it was around April when Elon Musk, Neuralink company, developed this very interesting AI-based solution where before the monkey can think where to go, the AI can already solve it, and shows like what is the next step, what will the monkey do. So you can try to see how this video on YouTube and understand what is happening there as well. So now, of course, with that understanding of technology, there's a lot of things that you can actually do to kick off your career in tech. And it starts with asking Google. Not to be biased about this, but the truth is you can always go to Google for any problem. Hands up here who does not use Google on the day-to-day basis. None, right? Like probably all of us have to go to Google for some questions that should enlighten us. And it makes sense because Google really connects the world, connect a lot of information so that people can get to it quickly as possible. And Google's mission is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. And it always has been the core principle of Google's mission as well. So, for example, you have to search what is HTML, and let's say you want to build a website, you want to build something. Uh, so you can kick off with simple questions, in the basics of it, and then click on links that are relevant for you, and you will find answers right away. Second is be intentional about learning and gaining new skills. In the world of tech, especially today, you have to really build your skills to have an advantage. In a lot of graduates here in the world, and of course, with that, you have to focus on what skills would you want to learn first, and that is relevant, that is useful, and that would allow you to be able to build. And remember, our industry is focused on how can we build, how can we create, how can we do solutions that are relevant to the world as well. So plan your learning, as simple as this. Like you learn HTML this week, next week I'll probably figure out how to do CSS, and probably the next week I'll do JavaScript. And then the goal for this, you have to set a goal. You want to build your own website, your own web page. And this totally makes sense, and truly will help you as well. But some of you are still having problems on how you can learn. Try watching this video by Johnny Harris called How to Force Yourself to Learn Stuff. And somehow he has a technique that's shared on having that kind of consensus. It's giving you a little bit of that deadline or something, to drive yourself to learn to that level. So, and yeah, and you will surely learn something from that. Third one is use online platforms as well. There are a lot of resources that you can surely visit to. And of course, Google and YouTube. Nowadays, YouTube, you want to watch the how-to videos, you can find it there as well. And I think it would be really really useful for you as well later on, once you start gaining some of this essential skills, especially in tech. And next is focus on one key tech skill first and be good at it. I think, this is one of the things I would always tell people. Don't just learn all of the technologies. Learn one and be good at it, and you showcase what you can do as well in that. And one of the things as well that you can learn, technologies that you can kick off learning is some of this technology I listed here, but not limited to, of course. There are so many open source technology out there that you can learn that are relevant to the industry, like MERN stack, or mean stack. Depends on you how you want to kick off your career. But you can start going to developer.google.com if you want to learn how to kick off your career in tech, or google.dev as well. And next one is be proactive in getting involved with your Gdsc community. What I mean here is that there are several activities and events and and workshops that your chapter, your community will be doing and organizing. And for sure, they need all the help to be in that, to get supported. Like whenever they have activities and events that they want to push as well. And of course, there are a lot of other communities that exist under Google developers as well, such as GDG, of course, Gdsc, Women Tech Makers. So these are some of the communities if you want to involve in and you want to learn more. So be proactive at this as well, and it will be very very helpful, especially to kick start your career in tech as well. And the best part about this is that you will be part of people, of a network of people with like-minded people who are passionate about technology as well. And here is contribute and share your new tech knowledge and skills. And I think it's very, very important that you create awesome things out of the learnings that you do. You level up your skills, as you do. And of course, explore future careers. Like what careers do you want, what specific job or career you want to be at. And right before you get to that job, you think of the steps going there. And that will be very, very helpful. Fourth is build your network and get more involved, as I mentioned already. So again, there's so much potential. There's so much thing to do still, especially in the Philippines. Like our technology has basically just started, and just look at this stats. This is 2021. We have about 110 million people in the country. Think about this, and then we have 152 million cell phones and mobile phones. That's a lot more than the people, right? Probably Justine has two phones right now. Who has two phones here? Say yes on the chat. I want to know. All right. Yes, we at least have one to two, three, four phones, I guess. But imagine the internet user. Look at this. 67% of population are connected to the internet. What what is that for you? Imagine if you have a technology that gets 1 peso every day to that 67% of our population. You're probably rich now, right? We all are. Just 1 peso, and then you can already do a lot about that money, and do more things that helpful for people. And of course, social media, number one in the world. We love, to talk about things on our social media network. And I think that's very very interesting. Just looking at the stats, there's so much thing that you can do. Probably in the next 10 years to 20 years, this number will double up. I hope not too much, because Philippines, too many people. But technology allow us to solve the world's greatest problem, and that's the reality. And speaking of that, just this recent last month solution challenge, one of the biggest competition that Google hosts every year, the Gdsc. For the first time in the last 3 years, Philippines won. One of the teams from the Philippines won, and I am not just like, I was so amazed and I was so excited to see that finally, after many years of effort, pushing teams, building out. We have Philippines. We also have Singapore in our region as well, and of course one in India. And this is very interesting. To see uh, more and more solutions are created. And if you look at this, iRise is a disaster risk management system that is focused on Tubigon, Bohol, and they want to inform people there. And that's really focused on helping solve local problems, community problem that exists, and it's very very useful for people there as well. Dementia care is really helping how to help people with dementia in Singapore. And Eye of God, people who are blind, they use a vision camera for people who are blind so that people can, it will provide information or an aid, a voice aid to people who are blind if they are encountering something. So all of this technology are really good and they are solving amazing problems. And I cannot wait for you guys to build projects as well that will solve some of our local problems. You have the key to your own future, so make it happen. Thank you, everyone.
So thank you so much, Mr. De La Cruz, for dedicating your time, for sharing about your career, and for inspiring the next generation of tech prospects. I definitely agree with you that the internet is a game changer for gaining new skills and for solving problems, especially in our industry, where it calls for innovation and change. So now we'll be commencing our question and answer portion for the new members who are scratching their heads right now and craving for curiosity. I'd like to
Of
ask
course.
our Chief Communications Officer, Andrea Parocho, to facilitate the open forum for the members.
Hi everyone, this is your CCO, Andrea, here to facilitate the open forum. So if you have any questions for our speaker, you may leave it in the chat below. I mean, to your right.
Go ahead, team. Thank you, Zach, for that question. I yeah, I hope that this session is helpful for everyone. Does age matter when starting out in tech? No, not really. As I mentioned, I started in tech quite very early. I was 6 or 7 years old when I had my first personal computer, and I would say start young, whenever you think is best as well. I don't think it matters at all. So yeah. How do you deal with imposter syndrome? Very good question, Andrea. Uh, cool. I think imposter syndrome will always be there, especially to share with you when you're working with a lot of smart people. You're not sure if you're really capable, or you're in the right place, or am I doing something right or not right. So I think it's very very uh normal, but of course it's not good. It's not good experience as well when you feel that for yourself as well. So one of the things I do is usually I actually talk to people. I start to talk about my case as well. I speak out that I feel a little bit I feel my a little bit my imposter syndrome is showing up. And I want to know a little bit more about you. So I started talking to people. I started to share some and be transparent about things about me as well. And and having ability to know the understand the signs that you're having that, and really share, or like at least sharing it or talking about it. And I think it will really help out as well. And you have to be kind to yourself a little, right? Like that you are having that. And you have, one of the things I do as well is to see like, hey, what have I been doing? Like track your success, track your and again, I mentioned embrace that, accept that, and allow that to tell you that, hey, you're actually okay. You're just like everybody else. they experience that as well. So yeah, moving on, we have several other questions. How do you gain confidence when starting out in tech? It feels a bit scary. Lex, that's an interesting question. When you start, I think having an understanding about tech, right? Starts from learning things, right? Learning simple things. You might not know everything for sure, but one of the things is just be learning, reading about it, and talking about it. The talking part is the most important one. You get to even learn further, especially when you're talking to other people about what you think about current tech discussion, and I think it will really help out. And one of the things I remember when I was younger was when I started to talk about technologies and give talks about it. Speak about this kind of how to how to kick off your skills in this. And sometimes I don't know everything, but it's okay. You have to, whatever you consume, you share it, and then that will really help you out in building out that confidence to you. That eventually you will be connected to more people and you'll learn from them and you will share that as well. So that's one of the things I did. Yeah, keep sharing what you learn as well. Is it hard to get a job in tech industry if you came from a non-tech course? I would say a little bit, but actually, if you have an understanding about tech, as like what is in the tech, kasi in tech industry, there are still a lot of pieces that are also done by non-tech, like project management. You can do that by talking to clients, but that's still there's a scope there that requires you to understand the core concepts. Like when you're talking to clients as a project manager, you have to understand that how a system works. You have to understand. So there's a little bit of technical there, but I believe if you are in the tech industry, there's a lot of hats that are non-technical. So you can surely find a job there also. So is it possible for those who come from non-tech intensive courses to prosper in the tech industry? Yes, yes, of course. Actually, the folks I know to share with you, like the folks I know at Google are a lot of them are actually marketing background, like business background, because at the end the core business of tech industry is still business. It's still a business of this technology that we have. And again, those there are hats there as well, but having an idea, as I mentioned, of tech is still very very useful, and it's relevant for the company as well whenever you apply in a tech company already. So yeah, just learn stuff there, and I think you will be able to prepare yourself there. How does solution challenge work? Like, how do we find groups? What's the time frame? Great question. Solution challenge begins usually at the beginning of the year and ends around July or August. The reason for that length, it's because at the beginning of the year, first 3 months it is the announcement of the solution challenge. It's an open application for anyone who wants to participate. And around March is when you start submitting your project. March 1st of March to end of March. And by the April and May, that's when the top 50 gets announced. And once you get into the top 50, you will go through a 2-month mentorship program with a Googler. That Googler might be based in US, in UK, and everywhere around the world. So you get a mentor that will help you out build your solution better. And of course, the next step is that there will be a top 10. Once the top 10 is announced, of course, you will have to present on demo day. On demo day, there will be top 3 winners that will be selected. So that's basically the time frame. And how do you find groups? You build it within your core team, or you wanna also, if you have other students coming from other campuses, that's also okay. So that's how it is. You build your own group if you have other people. All right, sir, advice for people who are confused with their career, not for me. Okay, advice for people who are confused with their career. So I did share a little bit about tech and why you should choose tech, but for those people who are confused, I think you have to really look into something that you are passionate about, and question yourself, what are the things that I really want to do, like um, so I shared a little bit about what my background and how I started and did it, and I was always sticking in one path. But remember, I also had a confusion days when I chose to go to a flying school right after my high school. It was that stage when I was confused, and was trying to wonder, is this really for me? And then I went back because I realized that there is actually a lot more things that I can actually do in tech. And for anyone who is confused, I think it's good to reflect and do a little bit of assessment. Like, what are the things that you can gain, you can lose, pros and cons, what analysis of your strength, your weaknesses, and it will really, really help you out. Understand, like, uh, sino ka ba talaga? Yeah, kinsagid ko. Like, what do you really want, and what do you really want to do? So yeah, I hope that helps. Thank you, Renzo, for that question. What is your most difficult encounter regarding with your job since you've been traveling, sir? Difficult encounter. This is quite a interesting, lads. If it's about travel, then I think the travel part didn't happen for the last, I would say, 2 years now, a year now, diba? Because everything we're at home. But I've been traveling using Google Maps, if that's counted as well. But I think one of the difficult encounter regarding my job would be managing a lot of things at the same time, and how do you prioritize them. I think that's one of the things that took a while for me to figure out, especially when there's just too much out of your capacity, and also how to say no in some of the things. When your colleague asks you for something, how do you say no because you have too many work already, or like your capacity is basically full. And of course, yeah. Aside from that, is getting far, staying far away from. If you're, whenever I travel, I feel sad because I stay for too long away from family as well. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. What are the tech industry worth investing skills in? I would say developers are still the highest paid in the industry. But if you feel that you are not really a developer, I suggest going into the other routes, which is what I do. Like, I'm a growth hacker. I use digital growth hacks and tools, and automations, and I still code a little bit, but that's not the really core of what I do now. Other than that, it's still, there are a lot of other roles, like technical consultants or project managers. Project managers are high demand. IT managers nowadays, so that is still a skills required. How to work with a team and things like that. Are data structure necessary to learn in tech? I would say yes. Yes, it's a fundamental way to understand core concept when you're programming, like which stack work that when using loops and things like that as well. So it's important for you to understand data structure, especially when once you start to deal with data in the real world already. Like, how do you manage it? What is the best approach in organizing it? And data structure is the, if you ever you will apply for a job in Google, in FANG companies, this is the core. Like, you have to know this. Like, and this is usually happening in the interview round. Okay, how is the daily experience usually like in a tech company? Well, it depends on what tech company you are talking about. If you're talking about corporate, then it's a corporate feel. There are rules, structures, bureaucracy, things like that. But if you are working in a tech startup, then you are gonna wear a lot of hats. You can become the project manager. You are gonna be like a marketer. You're gonna become a full stack developer, and I think that's the fun of it. Startups are, I would say, it's fun. You get to do a lot of hats, and you get to learn a lot of things fast as well. So that's tech startup as well. Startup company. Yeah. What is the greatest advice you can give to us as future professionals in this industry? Wow, greatest advice. Don't stop learning, I would say. And and I think become a problem solver. It's very, very important in this industry. You have to focus on how to solve problems and talk about it, speak about it, and I think it will really, really help you out in the industry. Do you think that tech careers will become saturated in the next? Uh, I don't think so. In the 5 to 10 years, no. Actually, it will still grow. As I showed earlier, that technology, we're still in the very early stage of a revolution. I would say, and the part where things become more um, required. I mean, there's still a lot of skill sets required when working on new technologies as well. So think about that. I think 5 to 10 years, not really. It's still pretty much gonna keep growing. So my parents are very against me getting a career involving tech. How do I convince them otherwise? This is quite interesting. My parent, it's a completely different world. Like, if you think about this, the most scariest career right now isn't in tech. It's actually the most nicest one because you get to have access to a lot of things and you can stay and work from home. Who doesn't like work from home? Probably, I mean, we still choose, right? We can still choose to go to the office, but tech has been like that. We can work remotely. We can work from anywhere in the world because you all you need to do is a laptop and a camera and talk to people and start doing your work. But if you are in a medical field, imagine that's the most dangerous job right now. Like all my sister is a nurse working on COVID patients every day, and I would still feel like how many times she had to do quarantine in the last 1 year because she felt symptoms. And it's very interesting how that is way more dangerous than it is. But I would say talk about companies, talk about success of tech in the last 10 years, talk about where you want to become in that tech bubble. Specifically which part of industry you want to do. What do you really want to do? And I think if you speak about what you really want to do, and they might be able to give a sense that you might, you can do it, and you can achieve the things that you want to do in tech as well. So yeah, I think that's usually how you should convince your parents. But all in all, I would say, research about tech, do a lot of research and understand what are you going to become in the tech career, like what exactly in the tech do you want to do. And I think from their point you can create a roadmap, a mind map of where you want to become in the next 5 to 10 years. And do a little bit of a question to yourself. Everyone, do a question: where do I want to see myself in 10 years? And it might probably give you an idea. You might not know it yet completely that it is, but yeah, you might get the answers soon. So thanks, everyone.
All right. So that's all for our open forum for Sir Shad. Thank you so much, Sir Shad Roy, for answering all these questions. Um, we know we have a lot more to come since we're still in school and we're still learning a lot. And hopefully we're able to use everything that all the knowledge that you have imparted upon us to further our careers in tech. So thank you so much, Sir
Appreciate
Shad.
it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for your questions also, everyone, all those members who asked Mr. Shad all those questions. So next up, in behalf of the Google Developers Student Club San Carlos, I would like to present this certificate to Mr. Shad Roy De La Cruz as a certificate of appreciation as for our guest speaker for today for imparting his valuable insights and inspirations given this 11th day of September 2021, signed by our advisors, Sir Chris Militante and Sir Ayan Velayo, and of course, our Gdsc San Carlos lead, Justine Guzman. And sir, if it's okay with you, we would like to have a photo up with you together with a certificate. So
Yeah,
everyone,
sure.
those who want to join in, you can turn on your cameras.
Okay, sir. I'll be the one to take the screenshot, sir. So
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Oh, thank you so much, sir, for giving us the time and giving us the inspiring words for our future career in tech, sir.
Thank you all.
All right, so now let's proceed and move on to the main event and get to know what GDSC is all about.
So to share her knowledge about what the GDSC is truly about, let's welcome our mischievous yet confident lead, Justine Guzman.
Thank you so much, Bessa and Zach, for that funny, for that cute introduction. So thank you. So hello, everyone. Welcome to the info session 2021 of GDSC San Carlos. We should really be, I'm really grateful that many of you are present right now. There's over, right now there I can see there are 155 participants, so that's more than what we've expected. So thank you everyone for taking the time to come and get to know more about GDSC San Carlos. So let's start off. I'm Justine Guzman, of course. I'm the GDSC San Carlos lead, and I will talk about what is GDSC. So next. So before talking about what GDSC is all about, let's go back to how it started and why it started. So GDSC launched in 2017 as a pilot in India to help solve the challenges that university graduates were facing securing employment, in the tech industry. Since then, the program grew to Indonesia and Africa. This year, we are growing globally from Asia to Africa, Europe, Japan, Middle East, Australia, New Zealand, Latin America, and North America. GDSCs are training thousands of student developers and working with their communities to solve real life problems. So so it started off as a small program in India, and now there are thousands, or if I could remember, there's over 1,500 chapters all over the globe in 100 plus countries. So it's not only here in GDSC San Carlos, but we are a global program and a global community where you can connect with other chapters as well, so that you can grow your network and improve your tech skills. So and currently in the Philippines, there are 30 chapters, and there are 3 here in the Cebu region. So if I could remember, it was only of course University of San Carlos, Cebu Institute of Technology University, and the University of Philippines Cebu. So we are the 3 chapters here in Cebu. So hopefully in the next few years we will grow, and there will be more chapters that will be implemented in various schools here in Cebu. So next is, so the main question of this presentation of mine is, what is Google Developer Student Club? So Google Developer Student Clubs are a university-based community group for college and university students interested in Google Developer technology. So yes, we are open to all levels in the college department, and as well as the senior high school students. We've recently opened this organization to them as well, so that they'll be able to given the chance to be exposed to these types of technologies, to be able to learn from various speakers, experts, and actually create a network that they can be very useful in their future careers. So we focus on learning Google developers technologies that are given by the Google developers themselves. So next is, students grow their knowledge in a peer-to-peer learning environment and build solutions for local businesses and their community. So at the end of the this term of mine, one of our main goal here is to make an impact in our community, even here in just in our small town of Cebu. So even though it's just small, I believe it's small because it's a global community. So even though we can impact Cebu only, it's still a great fulfilling moment for all of us that we're able to change lives here in Cebu to our fellow Cebuanos. So what we should make sure is to create such a good environment for the students to learn, to make connections, grow their network, improve their tech and social skills, so that as they grow older, or as they move on into, as they journey into the world of tech, they'll be ready and they'll be confident with their skills. So next is, of course, our vision and mission of the GDSC San Carlos. So our vision is to make lasting impact on society through meaningful tech solutions, and to be a safe space for students to maximize their potential through activities and events that promote holistic growth. Of course, like I said, we really aim to make an impact on society through our organization, through our students, where we able to give them a platform to maximize their potential, to make them to give them opportunity to learn various frameworks and programming languages, Google technology. So we're making sure that you'll be able to gather or learn something from this organization or from our term. So next, of course, is our mission is to design, develop, and deliver innovative solutions that solve real life problems. So this is also one of the biggest goals here in GDSC San Carlos, is to create a project for NGOs and partner communities that they can use, excuse me, that they can use. So that will be helpful for them, so that things in their daily activities will be much easier for them to handle, because many of our NGOs and partner communities are still going old fashioned, like doing Excel, like mga papers. So we should like extend as a we should extend our services as a tech organization to them. So that's one of our biggest impact on society, if we can think of. So next is, as a member, you'll be able to first and foremost connect. You'll be able to meet other students on campus interested in developer technologies. All are welcome, including those with diverse backgrounds and different majors. Yes, we have opened also our organizations. We have emphasized that in our PubMats, that we are open to various courses here in USC. I recently opened up the registration forms, and there are numerous. It's such a diverse group of people. There are people from School of Business, Stafford, and there are even students from the senior high school. Senior high school. So they're from ABM, STEM, Hume. So it's great to see that many of you are interested in one thing, and that is creating solutions that creating or building solutions through tech. So next, of course, you'll be able to learn as a member, where you will learn about a wide range of technical topics, where new skills are gained through hands-on workshops, in-person training, and project building activities. Unfortunately, we can't offer yet in-person training because we're in a pandemic. So hopefully in future GDSC terms, we'll be able to provide that as we'll provide that to our students or to our members. So yeah, you'll be able to learn a wide range of technical topics, Google technologies. You'll be able to learn them in workshops, study jams, events, even the solutions challenge, where you'll be able to apply those learnings into an application that you'll build with your team, and then pitch them to the Google developers. So it's gonna be a very fun ride with all of you, and hopefully you'll stay in that ride until the end of the school year. So next is, and finally, is you will be able to grow as a member. You'll be able to apply your new learnings and connections to build great solutions for your local problems, advance your skills, career, and network. Yes. So after all those workshops, study jams, events, talks, webinars, etc., you'll be able to apply them in various. We can conduct various projects. We will be holding various programming challenges and the solutions challenge, so that all those learnings and all those experiences will be put to good use and actually make an impact in our society. And of course, not only that, you'll be able to create connections and build your network, so that you won't do this or journey into the tech industry alone, but with people who have the same values and interest with us, with your values and interests as well. So next is, what do we do in Gdsc San Carlos? So I've already emphasized this a lot of times during the week of welcome. So I'll just enumerate them again for those who haven't listened to this part of the presentation. So first and foremost, we hold hands-on workshops where students learn new skills through hands-on activities. So we are given by the Google developers access to quick labs, so where we can teach or provide a platform, provide an opportunity for the students to test their skills in various programming languages, frameworks, Google technologies, and use quick labs as much as you can, guys, because this is such a big opportunity that Google developers have given to us. So let's not waste it. Let's try to build our tech skills. Let's try to enhance our tech skills and use them for the better. So next, of course, our info speaker session. So where students listen from esteemed speakers. So of course, you've just recently listened to Sir Shad Roy De La Cruz, who was the previous community program lead of the Southeast Asia region here in Gdsc. So from him, you'll be able, of course, you've learned so much how the tech industry works. You gathered insights, and hopefully all of those learnings that you gained from Sir Shad, you'll be able to apply them here from here on out. So yeah, we're also gonna in the future, we're gonna hold a lot of those as well, so that you'll be able to be guided and be able to be enlightened by other speakers as well. So next is study jams, or our study jams, where students learn together in peer-to-peer environments. So for this study jams, the difference between the hands-on workshops and the study jams is that the students can collaborate with one another. They can learn from one another. They can talk. They can share their codes, share their projects, and learn from one another, as what I've said. Basically not only learn from them, but also create connections